My goal is to tell you how my yoga journey and Quinnipiac journey have intertwined into one. The goal of yoga is to find peace within oneself, and the goal of the Quinnipiac seminar classes is to find peace amongst all human beings. The ultimate journey ends in happiness. This is my journey to happiness. QU301 is a vision of the individual self within the community. This vision shapes the expression of oneself. It has taught me that every person has their own story, but we all come together to form a whole. My professor compared it to a game of Jenga. It takes 54 blocks to build a tower, but only one to knock it down, and we never know which one that will be. On my trip to Bali, we did a yoga pose called the tree. As individuals, we were all able to balance on our own, but we found it much easier to hold on to each other. Every individual had to plant a sturdy foot before connecting to others, and what I find is that's important physically and mentally as well. QU301 is a link from the individual thoughts to a nation at large. A large part of what forms America is a separation of class. My professor proposed an idea of life being something like a race. He said, what if instead of starting at different stages of class, whether it be your lower class, middle class, or upper class, depending on your bloodline, we all started at the same point and were given equal opportunity to work to the top. The problem I had with this analogy was that I do not see life as a race. I see it as an obstacle course. Why should it matter how much faster or slower one got to the top? It only matters how they live the journey along the way. The great thing about yoga is that it gets rid of the past and the future and only focuses on the present. If your journey leads to happiness, who cares how long it takes to get there? QU301 is an adventure into the global community. My voyage to this developing country was a big eye-opener. We were no longer in our Quinnipiac bubble or even within the comfort of an English-speaking land. This trip taught me that what it's like to be a foreigner in an unfamiliar territory. They did not buy the food they ate, they grew it. They did not own the property they lived on, they simply borrowed it. They didn't even have flushing toilets in some public places. At the end of the day, these things do not matter. They were happy with what they had, and so was I. Yoga was common ground. No matter what country you are in, what matters is the breath and body moving as one. We shared a common ground full of peace. We have to define ourselves before we can define each other, and we have to define each other before we can define common peace. I think being happy is important. I think being happy for others is more important, and I think being happy with others is most important. I might have my own issues, but they're just that. They're my issues. I'm happy. This new journey, my new friends, my new knowledge, have all led me to this happiness because I do believe yoga can change the world.